And that's what kept me in. Now, the thing was this, I never had any success with Amway, okay? And that's nothing against Amway. Amway is such an extraordinary company, and I think we all stand upon their shoulders. I mean, they had their first billion-dollar month a couple of months ago, by the way. That's how they seem to have survived without me. So I was in the Amway Corporation for about 6 months, and during that time I sponsored one person who was my roommate, because I lent him the money for the distributor product. And he's going to pay me back when, you know, which I'm still waiting for. So 6 months, the only guy I ever sponsors my roommate. Nothing happens. I don't sponsor anyone else. He doesn't sponsor anyone else, and then he quits. Well, what would you do, Jackie? I lost my whole organization. So, of course, I quit too. Now, of course, once you join, because what I learned is, you know, I had never heard of Amway, but I was calling all my friends and neighbors, and they had heard of Amway, and they weren't particularly interested about hearing about it again from me. Okay, Mr. Loser, who had never had any success, never made any money, who was just a deadbeat bum, right? So, but I had approached everybody with that amazing script I had learned in this three-ring binder. So they all knew that I was into those things. So, of course, anyone and everyone I knew who ever joined another company since then, 32 years ago until today, the first person they call is me, because they know I'm into those things. So, of course, a couple of months go by, I get a phone call. They got a deal just like Amway, only better. I loved Amway. This was better than Amway, so of course I joined that. Signed up the roommate. Same thing. A few months go by, roommate drops out, I drop out. Another few months go by, somebody calls, they've got a deal that's better than the deal that's better than Amway. I'm in like Flint. Roommate comes in. Roommate drops out. I drop out. A couple of months go by. Ring, ring. Here's a deal. It's just like the deal that's better than the deal, which is better than the deal, which is better than Amway. I'm all over it. Roommate won't join. 5 years, I lost money in network marketing. 5 years, I bought product. 5 years, I bought distributor kits. 5 years, I went to meetings. I drove my old beat-up Plymouth and parked it behind the restaurant so nobody could see the old bucket of bolts that I was driving, because, you know, I'm in there talking about living the dream, and we're all going to be rich, and we're going to be traveling the beaches of the world together and all of that stuff. And 5 years it took me to finally stop looking outside and to start looking inside. And do a little critical thinking. And say, okay, is it not true that in all of these, because in 5 years I was probably in 40 companies. Because, you know, my dream, I mean, my ultimate dream was, if I could, and it was funny, Todd mentioned this, my dream at that time was to make $10,000 a month. Because somebody who made $10,000 a month, that was like the richest person in the world that I could even conceive of at that point. I come from a single mother who raised 3 kids knocking on doors selling Avon. Literally back in the day when it wasn't, you know, the woman who took the catalogs in the office and sold to her office mates. My mother knocked on doors, strangers, and that's how she raised 3 kids by herself. I know because I was the one who took the books out and left them on the doors every week, okay? So we never had money. I was always broke. I didn't know wealthy people. So $10,000 a month was mind-boggling. And so I kept trying a deal, trying the next deal, trying the next deal. And then I had this brilliant idea. Well, if I got into 10 different deals at the same time and just got up to $1,000 a month in each of those 10, there's the $10,000 a month. I'm a billionaire, you know? And of course it works out perfectly because this company has a free bonus car, and this company sells car wax. And this one sells long distance service, and you need the long distance service to build the other two. And this one has this one, and the products don't compete. And I had it all figured out. Well, of course, that doesn't work. As you heard yesterday, you've got to find one program and work it exclusively. But I didn't know that, so I'm jumping around. So I'm in program after program after. And so finally, after 5 years, when I'm doing this critical thinking, and I say, in all of those companies I was in, were there people who were successful? And there were. In all of those programs I did, there were people winning those bonus cars, taking those free cruises, cashing those big bonus checks. They had the same product line, they had the same compensation plan, they had the same marketing materials, they had the same everything in terms of the external stuff. What they didn't have the same was the internal stuff. It's fascinating. You know, my last book was called Making the First Circle Work. That's my 8th book. That book is going to blow up every other book I've ever written. It was, the first printing sold out in 10 days. I never had a book that so many people bought 500, 800, 1,000 copies after, because you can read it in, what, how long does it take, an hour? Hour and a half or something? They literally bought it at our Jonax event, is when we launched it. There were people who bought it on Friday, read it at that night, and were back ordering 1,000 the next day and shipping them back to their team. And all the book is about is, of course, the first circle is the one that says you in it. And the book is about 9 different areas that I talk about how we control the first circle. And by controlling the first circle, that's what makes all the other circles work.